Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you to Discover Downloadable Titles in the Library That Never Closes. That would be Kentucky Libraries Unbound. My name is Debbie Hibbard. I'm a Circulation and Marketing Librarian here at KDLA, and I'm going to be presenting today's webinar. If you have any questions in technical or sound issues or anything like that, please feel free to chat those in. I will be answering questions throughout the presentation, so if you'd like to chat in any questions, I will do my best to answer them as well. And just a little housekeeping, this is being recorded and will be available on our archive training sessions page. We also have live captions that are available. You should have notification in Blackboard Collaborate asking you if you want to use captioning or not. Also, in case that doesn't pop up, there is a link in the chat there at the very top for stream text. And you can click on that chat and you will be able to get captioning. Okay. So just a little bit about what we're going to be covering this afternoon. First, we're going to talk about KLU, just kind of an overview of what it is, how you access it with your KDLA State Library account, and so on. Then we'll talk about some technicalities that are involved with downloading materials. Some of this might be very basic information for many people, but just in case there are some novices out there who aren't really familiar with downloading ebooks or audiobooks, we'll go over some of that stuff. And then third, we're going to talk about how to find titles either through browsing or searching in Kentucky Libraries Unbound, and then how to borrow and check out those materials or place them on holds. And finally, we'll go over how to download that perfect ebook or audiobook to your device. Okay. So what is Kentucky Libraries Unbound? Well, KLU, we use that acronym throughout the webinar. KLU is a group of Kentucky libraries. They're mostly public libraries. In fact, we're the only special library in the bunch. So these are all public libraries in Kentucky that have pooled resources to offer electronic downloadable material to patrons. The pooling of resources makes the service more affordable for public libraries who might have tight budgets especially, and it helps Kentucky libraries provide a larger variety of materials to their patrons. Kentucky Libraries Unbound is offered through a company called Overdrive, and Overdrive is basically a distributor of electronic material. They provide digital rights management and download fulfillment services for publishers, libraries, schools, and retailers. So they're kind of like a middleman. There are the publishers and the people who have the material. There are the folks that want the material, and they provide digital rights management and download fulfillment services for those folks, and access to us for all those wonderful ebooks and audiobooks. And as to what's available in KLU, they have ebooks, e-audiobooks, and magazines, both for adults and kids, so any age group. They used to have streaming video, but they have done away with that. So you can no longer get any kind of movies or anything like that through KLU. Items can be checked out for up to 21 days, and item is available if there are no holds on the material. And then at the end of the loan period, the title will expire and automatically return, so you don't have to worry about returning your book or anything. It just automatically goes ahead with it. And you can check out up to 20 titles at a time and place up to 20 titles on hold. Now, as for restrictions on using your state library account, there are none. You can download anything that you want from Kentucky Libraries Unbound. I do like to point out, though, that we, being the state library, and since we serve both state government employees, we also serve public libraries. But for our state government employees, We do try to provide work-related items that would help you in your work with citizens of the Commonwealth. So we provide a lot of books like anything work-related, human resources, management topics, customer service, things of that nature. So you will find those in our collection. So each library that belongs to KLU can add items to the collection. They can purchase them and add them. That makes it available to everyone in the state, although there is a way that we can set it up so that people who have a state library account, and if we've purchased that item, you get first dibs on it, essentially. So we do have that set up that way, but essentially, we probably a lot of the work-related titles that are in KLU, we have probably purchased a number of those. Another thing that I like to point out is if it's a work-related, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. I'm going to take care of an audio issue here really quick. Okay. Kim is also our moderator here, Kim Usry. She's in our training department, and she is on top of it, so she's got that taken care of. Okay, so at any rate, when you are thinking about downloading something to any state-owned equipment, you might want to check with your supervisor or your agency's IT department about that. Because different agencies may have different policies on downloading items to any state computer. So I just want to put that out there. If it's a work-related topic and maybe you don't want to download it to your personal device, but you just want to download it to your computer, then you would want to make sure that you know what your agency's policy is on that. But enough about that. Okay, one last thing before we move on to apps and software. If you have a new account, or if you have never set a password for your account or have forgotten it, you will need to set or reset a password before you can log into KLU. So to set a password, you're going to go to our webpage, that's kdla.ky.gov, there in red at the bottom, and you will click on KDLA WorldCat Discovery, so that's that last option in red on the drop-down menu. And then once you click on that, it's going to take you to our main catalog page. And you're just going to click on Sign In there at the top right-hand corner of the screen. And that will take you to the sign-in page. Now, in order to set or reset a password, there's a button down there at the very bottom. Just click on that. And once you do, it's going to take you to this page where you will need to enter your account number and then hit on Request New Password. And you'll get an automated email at your work email address with instructions for resetting the password. The library account number and password are good for everything that we offer to state employees. So they're good for KDLA's catalog, good for the research databases, as well as KLU. Okay. So on to technicalities. Now again, like I said before, this is going to be pretty basic stuff, but just to kind of get us started. So you do, of course, have to have an internet connection in order to download anything. And the types of connections that that you need are like Wi-Fi and 4G capability, and or a USB cable. So most devices are 4G or Wi-Fi capable. There's very few anymore, I guess, that probably aren't. Wi-Fi is the name of a wireless technology. It uses radio waves to provide internet connections. And 4G, on the other hand, stands for, and the G stands for generation, by the way. That is a mobile technology that uses cellular networks to provide internet connections. So this will allow you to download stuff directly to your device. If for some reason you don't have Wi-Fi or 4G capable device, that might be like a very old e-reader, something of that nature, then you would have to use a USB cable, which you would just, you know, hook up to your laptop or PC computer to download items from it. Also, Wi-Fi is just a wireless connectivity. It does require an internet connection and a router. That can be set up in your home, probably just many homes. If you have internet, you probably have Wi-Fi. Many homes have that now. Also, they have them in public places like libraries, restaurants, hotels, and so on. And the router works by emitting frequencies that allow you to connect to the internet anywhere that you are within range of that frequency. And once an item is downloaded to your device, it's going to stay there. As far as KLU is concerned, once you download it to your device, it'll stay there until your loan expires or you delete it from the device. Now 4G, of course, being cellular technology, requires a monthly fee to some kind of provider such as AT&T, Verizon, someone of that nature. But the thing about it is that you can use it anywhere you can get a signal. So anywhere you get a cell signal, you'll be able to use it. Soon we'll be getting 5G. Pretty much all the 3G has been shut down at this point. Many of the companies have already shut down their 3G. Now we're completely into 4G, and very soon 5G will be here. It's supposed to be very fast. I've read that it should be competitive with cable internet as far as increased bandwidth is concerned. And 2020, commercial 5G networks have been deployed in 378 cities across 34 countries, including 50 cities here in the U.S. Most of those are larger areas such as New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. But 5G is on the way. Okay. Then, as far as devices are concerned, there's all kinds of devices that you can download KLU books to. You can read them on smartphones, e-readers, tablets such as iPads and Kindle Fires, PCs and Pod Touches. Audiobooks can be listened to on any device except for an e-reader. E-readers are simply just for e-books, and they do not support any type of listening necessarily. Because most people are on the go, I think the most popular devices for e-audios are smartphones or MP3 players. And I think most people listen on their smartphones probably. Okay. And then another thing that you have to consider is the digital format of the book. For audiobooks, that's pretty easy. Most of those are in MP3 format. KLU, the ones that are offered, are in MP3 format. There's also an overdrive listen option, and I'll go into that a little bit here in a minute. As far as ebooks are concerned, you have EPUB as an option, you have Kindle as an option, PDF, or overdrive read. So as far as EPUB is concerned, you can read those on any of the overdrive apps on mobile devices. If you have a computer, it's best to use Adobe Digital Edition software for EPUB books. Open EPUB can be downloaded to any reading app. Adobe EPUB is protected by Adobe's DRM system, so you would have to have Adobe Digital Editions in order to read those. And the advantage of EPUB books is that they auto-adjust to fit the screen, and you can change your display options. Kindle, you can also change some display options with Kindle too. If you need a larger font, for example, you can change that in Kindle. That is what I have, a Kindle e-reader, a Paperwhite. And Kindles can be read on any Kindle device, and you have to have a Kindle reading app in order to read Kindle. And Amazon is kind of proprietary that way. Okay, PDF. These can be read using Adobe Digital Edition's app or software. They cannot be read on the Overdrive apps. Open PDF can be read in a web browser or other reading app. Adobe PDF is protected again by Adobe's DRM system, so that requires Adobe Digital Editions. And the advantage for PDF, they're usually used for like graphic novels, illustrated ebooks, textbooks, anything that has a lot of, I guess, illustration with it. Or might have graphs and, you know, pictures and things of that nature like textbooks do. And Overdrive Read is an option that is available in Kentucky Library Unbound, and it allows you to read or listen in your browser. It does keep your progress and your bookmarks stored in the cloud. However, you have to have an internet connection in order to read or listen to it in the browser, unlike downloaded material. But if you're on your smartphone and you have that limited data cell, and then you can just open it up and read it anywhere you go. Okay. And these are the various apps that you will need on your device in order to download some of the material. So also just a note, again, e-readers are just for getting downloaded books. They don't support apps. So all you're going to have in an e-reader is just the downloaded material. Adobe Digital Editions can be used on pretty much any tablet, smartphone, laptop, PC. So, you know, as we saw with some of the materials like Adobe PDF and Adobe EPUB, you would need a particular app. Now, Kindle, again, has to be used on Kindle devices. Well, the reading app actually you can get, because I have the reading app on my smartphone, for example, and it's an Android. Libby is the app that you really need to be aware of. And it was created by Overdrive, and it can be used on any device except Amazon Kindle Fire tablets. There is a way to sideload Libby onto Amazon tablets manually with what Overdrive calls an Android package file, an APK file, and that is available from Overdrive. You can also go to libbyapp.com to use Libby in your web browser if you're on a PC or a laptop. And the original Overdrive app that Libby is replacing, and that's the one there on the far right, it's already been removed from all the app stores, so you can no longer get it. It was always a free app, so is Libby. You can no longer get this app in the stores, but it's also going to be sunsetting in 2023. So if you currently use it, it's still working, but they are going to retire it for good in early 2023. They have not specified a date yet, but I would probably go ahead. I should go ahead. I haven't yet, and switch over to Libby, because your Overdrive app is not going to work after they retire it. Okay, the Amazon Kindle app, which is that one at the bottom, works on most devices, and you used to be able to purchase books in that app. One thing that's kind of new with it, you could purchase books in it, but that service is no longer supported, unfortunately, by Amazon. So if you were used to getting your books, purchasing them through that app, you're going to have to go to the Amazon web. Did somebody have a question? Just chat that in if you do.
It's like you got a hand raised.
Okay. Oh, all right. So on to downloading apps. Although you can get books in KLU in formats supported by Adobe Digital Editions, the Overdrive apps, usually the original app or the Libby app, are the ones that I think most people use for KLU. If you've been reluctant like me to switch to Libby, again, you might want to go ahead and do that ASAP. Libby is found in the Apple Store, Google Play for Android devices, and as mentioned before, can be acquired directly from Overdrive with an APK file if you have an Amazon device. And Adobe Digital Editions can be found in all the stores, Google Play, Apple stores, and Kindle, of course, is available in Google Play, Apple, and Amazon app stores. So let me go ahead and I have a link that I wanted to put in the chat, and that is for Libby app if you wanted to check that out. LibbyApp.com. Okay, we're briefly going to look at Libby here now. This is what it actually looks like in the browser when you first open it up. There on the left-hand side, you see there's just this little welcome page, and it asks you if you have a library card. So you do. You've got a state library card. You click on yes. When you get to the second page, it's going to ask you to search for your library. So when you search for the library is going to be, even though you have a state library account, the library is Kentucky Libraries Unbound. So that's the consortium that you're trying to log into. So you'll search for Kentucky Libraries Unbound. And then that's going to bring you to kind of the Libby homepage. At that point, it's going to ask you to sign in with your card. Okay, so when it does that, you are going to choose Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. It won't say state library. It has options for your public library because just about every public library in the state is part of KLU. So, but you don't want to put your county. You just want to put Kentucky Libraries, Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives on that second sign-in screen. Also, you can have more than one card on Libby. If you do have a card with your county public library, you can also add that one. Just a little bit about the different options there on that page. At the very bottom, you see several different icons there. So this is a very simple, very intuitive app. The little magnifying glass, of course, is going to bring up the search option. The little building is the home page, so if you're anywhere in the site, you can always click on that. It's persistent throughout the app, and you can get back to the home page. The three lines in the middle is a menu, which takes you to a page for managing your library cards. And you can also indicate your preferred settings, so depending on how many days you want to be able to check out a book for. And it has any notifications, like if there are any holds that are ready to borrow, that type of thing. The little books icon is your bookshelf, and that will hold all of your loans and your holds. And then the clock icon gives you an option for your reading history. That's a page. It shows your timeline of checkouts and what you've borrowed. You don't have to keep a history. There is an option in the settings that allows you to choose whether you want that or not. And you can add titles to your history as you read them if you want to keep in mind, you know, how many books of a series you've read or that type of thing. Excuse me. Okay, more about the Libby switch. So you may be asking, if you've been using Drive, what's going to happen to your holds and your checked out items when switching. The items you have on hold or checked out in Overdrive will appear in Libby, so you don't have to worry about that. As far as your reading history, you can export it from the Overdrive app to save it, but you can't import it into Libby. So once you start using Libby, you can find your reading history from that point forward in your clock icon, that little clock icon timeline. But otherwise, you know, you're not going to be you're going to have to keep that saved document that has your reading history from Overdrive app. And as far as wish lists are concerned, if you did create wish lists in the Overdrive app, you can automatically import into Libby as a smart tag. So they call them tags. You'll be prompted in Libby via an in-app notification to import your wish list. And as far as help is concerned, on the left-hand side there, you see the homepage for Kentucky Libraries Unbound. They have a small little help link up there at the top in the right-hand corner of that. On the right-hand screen, you see Libby. And again, if you click on Setting, that little menu in the middle there of the icons on the bottom, you will be taken to where you can, in the middle, scroll down and get to, it says Get Some Help. And it will take you, well, the KLU page will take you to an intermediate page, and then you just click on Libby, and it takes you to the Libby troubleshooting page. If you go to Get Help in the Libby app, it will take you right here. So, a few things about the help page. You notice at the top you'll see a link for taking you to information about switching to Libby, and also especially notice the troubleshooting link. So there at the top under help categories, you've got troubleshooting. If you have any difficulties with downloading error messages and so on, you can just click on that. They've got a wealth of information there. And then also, if you have questions, I'm not going to from here on show you the rest of the Libby app as far as searching and browsing and so on. I'm going to just show you that from the KLU website, because I think it would be a little confusing to go back and forth between both. But everything that you can do in KLU, you can do in Libby, except browsing is not as robust in Libby as it on the KLU website. So you might want to keep that in mind. If you're just not sure what you want to read and you just want to do some browsing, go to the website to do that. If you know just what you want, you can search for that title in Libby and see if they have it or not. Okay, as far as browsing and searching in Kentucky Libraries Unbound, again, this is their home page, and I'm going to put a link in the chat to their direct web page. So paste and send. Okay. And this is, again, the home page. You can see at the top right-hand corner, when you are signed in, you're going to get search results for not only the shared KLU content, but also that which is specific to our library, which I talked about a little bit earlier. Again, there are some small differences in the material offered between libraries. This is why it's nice if you have both the state library account and a public library account. You can have both of those in Libby because you can see what's available from both libraries. But some of the small differences are that some libraries have something called an Advantage account, and so they have more copies of a particular title. Maybe some of the more popular titles they might have more copies of. Again, we tend to add work-related titles, so if you're looking for work-related titles, you might want to, you know, kind of check on your state library account, but generally you're not going to find a whole lot of difference in what's available from one library account to the other. Okay, so while you're on the home page for KLU, you again go to that sign in at the top, and then it's going to bring you to this page, and you're going to check Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. Some people get confused and think that they want to sign in with their public library account, but you know, you can do that if you have a public library account. But if you're wanting to use your KLU state library account, then you would have to click in with Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. You hit sign in, And it's going to take you to our authentication page where you just put in your library account number and your password. And then coming back to the home page, you will see at the top there, circled in red, the various options for browsing. And these options, again, are not in Libby to the same degree. It is much easier to browse on the web page. And you can first browse subject. So if you click on subjects, it's going to take you to this page, and you're going to see all these subject headings. At the top, they have the fiction subject headings, and then if you scrolled on down that page, you'd see nonfiction. And they have various formats. So if you're only wanting to see ebooks, you just click on ebooks, and then it's going to bring up the same subject headings. But when you click on, say, historical fiction, it's just going to have ebooks of historical fiction. You can also browse by collections, so that's right next to subjects. And Overdrive staff curate titles together in a collection. Sometimes these titles are of a certain theme. Some of their past featured collections include animal tales, if you're an animal lover. They also have Kentucky authors and award-winning young adult items. Currently, they have lists of their newest ebook and audiobook editions. I want to be sure to check out some of those featured collections. They're kind of neat. And I also wanted to show you the Kindle Books feature that's circled there in red. That was, if you click on that, it just brings up all the Kindle books that they have. And then on the far right, past Kindle books, you have the kids option, and I wanted to show you that because it's kind of neat too. So if you have little ones in the house, you can look for just ebooks or audiobooks for them. There are also special kids magazines. And I wanted to point out the Bluegrass Award winners. If you're not familiar with that program, it's a program designed to encourage students to read widely from lists of current, well-reviewed literature that reflects a variety of experiences and points of view. So these titles that are chosen each year by volunteer school librarians, public librarians, and classroom teachers from across the state. And then lists are created by grade level, and the students get to vote on their favorite titles to determine the winners. So that's a really nice program, and you know those are quality books. Okay, and then you can also browse by magazines, and KLU has over 600 magazines available. It's quite a lot. So the newest issues are always at the top, and then from there on, if you were to scroll on down that page, they are sorted by subjects like lifestyle, cooking, health, and so on. And these are just a few of the titles that they have. You see that they have some of the very popular ones like Cosmopolitan, Country Living, the Oprah magazine, Reader's Digest. There's just a lot of them. They do have Sports Illustrated. I'm not sure if that's on there. So yeah, there's a ton of magazines. No need to have a subscription really, unless you just like getting the print magazine. Okay. And they're all free. All of this is free. So if you want to do a direct search, you know what you're looking for, then you're going to click on that search option at the top where the red arrow is. And this box allows you to do a keyword search, a title or author search. And one thing I'd like to point out, you'll notice at the top of the item cover, so where it says South Beach Diet Supercharged, there's a blue line there at the top, and it says available. So that lets you know that you can download and check out that item right away. Otherwise, you're going to see wait list. So the paleo diet book, the rectangle, it's in white there, and it says wait list, and that means that there are other people reading it right now, and you can place a hold on it. Also, below the cover, you see there's a line there. It tells you whether the item is a book or an audiobook. So that's just one thing I'd like to mention because it's not really super noticeable. It used to be more noticeable in their older website. And you know, if you really want an ebook, I've accidentally checked out an audiobook before, so and I really wanted an ebook. So that's just something to make sure you are checking that format. You can also change, so let me go back to that previous slide. You can also change the, you can also change the format of the list. So if you prefer to have it in list form, the little boxes up there in the right hand part of the screen where I have it, the box in red, that will allow you to switch it back and forth. So if you click on the one there to the right with just 2 boxes and the lines out from it, that's the list option. And that's just your preference. The list option allows you to get a description below the cover. It just, you know, gives you a little more information, but then you have to scroll. So it's just whatever you want to do. On this page, you can filter your search. So when you get all of your, this is back to the default screen. If you get all of your search results and you know that you're just wanting to look at ebooks, or you're just wanting to look at audiobooks, you can filter by format. And if you're looking at ebooks, you can click on that and you can see the various digital formats that I was talking about earlier. So they have Kindle Book, Overdrive Read, EPUB ebook, and so on. And since I use Kindle, if I wanted to just see Kindle books, I could click on that Kindle book option, and there's like 138, I think, titles there on the subject of diet. That's what I did when I did my search. I just put in the keyword diet, and it came up with all these different titles. You can also do an advanced search. So you'll click on the little search magnifying glass, and then that will drop down and bring you up an advanced option. And this is the advanced search page. Now, one thing I want to point out, the search you do here is strictly a title or author search, not a keyword search. So if you just want to do a keyword search, you'll want to stay on that main screen. You can put in diet where it says title, and that will bring up every item that has the word diet in it in the title. But other than that, it's not a keyword search. Okay, you can also filter again by author. You can filter by subject, format, language, availability. You can do what's coming soon titles, so you can get a jump on placing a hold on them. And you can also filter by audience level or the date that it was added if you just want to see the newest items. And at the bottom, you can also indicate levels, such as the lower grades, K to 3, upper grades 9 to 12. And if you happen to know your child's Lexile level, you can even filter by that. Okay, for title menu options, you are going to click on the 3 dots where you see the red arrow beneath the Paleolithic diet cover. And that's going to bring down a menu with options. The first option is to read a sample. If it's an audiobook, it'll say listen to a sample, so it'll give you that option. And that's where the blue arrow is. And if you want to see more information about a selection, you'll just click on View Details, which is the second option down. It's circled in red. You can also just click on the cover, and that'll take you to the details page. And here's the details page. Again, it gives you, you get another option for reading a sample. You can add to your wish list or your history. You get a description of the item, and you can even rate it. So the stars that I have circled there in the middle allow you click on those, and it's, 1 if it's poor, 5 if it's great. And you can even keep a list of your rated titles. So if you do rate a title, it's going to show up in a list later on, and I'll show you where that is. in a little bit. Okay, and they have a new option here, relatively new, View Series. So if you click on View Series and the title is part of a series, you'll get all the books in that series that they have available. And so there's 7 in the Try It Diet books. Okay, and then Add History allows you to add to your reading history titles. It's just like on the details page where you had that little place where you could click it. So there's always several places to go when you want to do something. And when you click on You May Also Like, it brings up a page of other titles you may want to check out, like recommendations, kind of similar to the Amazon website where they bring up these You May Like recommendations. Most of them are related to the subject of the former book, but not always. Sometimes you get some really strange ones. And then wish lists. If you're on the main search results page and you want to place something on your wish list, you can't read it now, you don't have time, but you just want to read it later, you can do that. What you would do is where I have that red circle, you would click on that little bookmark icon and it'll turn orange. And then you will have it on your wish list. And you can place up to 5,000 titles on your wish list at a time. And you see there, it's in orange now, so it's on your wish list. If you want to look at your wish list, if you click on My Account in the upper right-hand screen of KLU, then it brings up a menu, and the third one down is Wish List, and I've got that circled in red there. Items stay on your list. They're not deleted when you sign out and then sign back in. Under the wish list where it says rated titles, you can find any titles that you've rated if you want to keep track of those, recommend some to friends, that type of thing. And now we're going to look at settings, and that's the last option there and highlighted in red. Okay, so KLU lets you choose from 3 options for your lending periods. If you're a really quick reader, you can check something out for 7 days, or listener. You get the middle option of 14 days, and if you're like me and it takes you a while, 21 days. So you can set that here, and every time you check out a book, it'll automatically set it for 21 days. And you want to go ahead and do that before you start doing any of your searching or anything, because it defaults 14. So if you don't want 14, then you'll want to go ahead and have that set already. Some titles may not have flexible lending periods. It just depends. Most of them do. I've not come across one so far that hasn't had one. But Overdrive indicates on there that it may not be flexible, so certain titles. In the middle there, you see a blue arrow. You can turn on your history, or if you don't want to have it keep a history of what you're reading, you can turn that off. You also have an audience section. So if you just want to see books for general adult, that'll let you just look for books on general adult. They don't really define the ages for these settings. Mature adult is listed as being for people over the age of 18, and they give erotic literature as their example. So that might be something that you wouldn't want your kids to see if kids are around, if you're doing that kind of search. There's also an option for seeing only Kindle book options while browsing and searching, and that's there in the red circle at the bottom. And just one last thing on settings, if you scroll further on down that page, it does give you a display option for high contrast or dyslexic font. High contrast is defined as it just lets you contrast the level display it allows you to change the contrast level to display for KLU's website. I have not used this before. It's supposed to help people with vision disabilities since it heightens the color contrast of text and window borders and images on the screen is what it says. So it makes it more visible, easier to read and identify and so on. So when you turn it on, it says it's a background that's black and the text is bright blue and yellow. Another setting is for readers who have dyslexia, and this setting is a font option that is supposed to make text easier to read for dyslexic users. You can't have the two on at the same time, it says. So that's just these are some really nice options, kind of accessibility options for folks who may have a harder time reading. Does anybody have questions before we go on? We've got about 15 minutes, and then we can save questions for the end, but if you have any right now, please feel free to go ahead and send those in. Okay, so now we're going to move on to borrowing titles. Again, you can check out up to 20 items at a time with your KDLA account. So you can have 20 books, or if you want 18 books and 2 audiobooks, it doesn't matter what kind of item it is, it's just 20. You can click on Borrow there under the cover and go ahead and borrow it, or if you've clicked on the cover portion, it's going to take you to View Details to read more about the item. And there is a blue Borrow button on that page as well where you can check it out. Once you borrow the item, it's going to get this nice pop-up box that allows you to change your checkout time, so one more chance to change that. You can also, if you accidentally hit borrow. And once you click borrow in the pop-up box, you're going to see a due date, and you're going to have options for downloading. You can also click on the X if you just want to go to your loans page to download. And now I'm going to show you the loans page. So notice again, my account there in the top right-hand corner. That's your main menu for finding what you have on hold, what your loans are, and kind of managing what you've got checked out and what you want to check out. So that is in red there on the top right-hand corner of the screen. In the middle, you'll see loans, so it lets you know, yes, we are on the loans page. And then below that, where the title is, it has return in that small red circle there at the very bottom. That lets you return it early if you're done with it early, or you know, if you've just gotten into it, you just don't really want to finish it, don't want to read it, you can return it early. And then again, over there on the left-hand side, same menu as you get from the drop-down. So just giving you more options for where to click on something. Okay, so you know we saw wait list over the cover on the search results page. If the item isn't immediately available, you do have an option to put it on hold. Just click on the hold link under the cover or the button on the details page, and you're going to get another pop-up box. And it's going to tell you what your position in line is. So for this particular box, this particular title, I am #1 on 1 copy, so I shouldn't have very long to wait for it. And it also gives you that you might like these titles, and it shows you the covers of different titles that you might be interested in that are related to the one you're trying to borrow. Okay, on the holds page, under my account, you can click on holds. It's going to show you all the items that you have on hold. And here it's going to show you your place in line. So that's, I've got that again circled in red. It says #1 on 1 copy, and it gives you your wait time. So it's guesstimating about 2 weeks. It's usually a little less than what it says on the wait time. At the bottom, you notice you have several options available. I've got those in the rectangle there in red, and one is to edit your email. So when an item is ready to borrow, you will receive an email from Overdrive, whatever email they have on your account. Okay, so you can edit your email there on the home page, on the holds page. If you get an email address, or you just want to change, you have more than one, you want to change which one you get your notification at. Also, you have a suspend hold option, and you can also cancel the hold, so you can remove it from your holds page. There at the very top, underlined, you can place 19 more holds, so I can get 19 more holds if I want them. And just a word about the suspend a hold. It's kind of a neat option. It's going to keep moving you forward on the mailing list, but the item will not become available to you while it is suspended. So if you're going to be out of town for a while and you don't want that to come up because you're going to be busy and you're not going to be able to read it, you can suspend the hold for several days. They give you an option all the way up to 180 days, actually. And so that would be, you know, something that you might be interested in doing. And now for downloading. So we're coming to the last part of our webinar. So after you have borrowed, you're going to want to download. Now, going back to this last slide, it does give you an option to download it from that pop-up box once you've checked it out. If you don't want to download it from there, you can go on to your loans page, and it gives you the options for downloading. So I'm just going to show it to you from the loans page. You see there above the title, it tells you when it will expire, how many days that you have until it expires. And you see in the middle, it's marked in red there, in the middle part next to the Paleolithic diet cover, you have the options for downloading. So they give you, this particular book is available in two formats. It's available in Kindle book, and it's available as an EPUB ebook. I have a Kindle device. EPUB ebooks cannot be read on Kindle, so I'm going to choose the Kindle book option. For the most part, you want Kindle for Kindle because Kindle won't let you do any other format on their devices. For EPUB, you can use pretty much any other mobile product like an iPhone, iPad, an Android phone, smartphone, EPUB for any other, and then the PDF books, ebooks, you can read usually like on, they're probably best to use them on a computer, either a desktop or a laptop, but you could probably download them to like a smartphone. And your browser, you see that on the far right-hand corner of the page in blue. It says read in your browser. That's an option, again, that you have to have cell phone technology for. You have to be able to get an internet connection in order to read. So if it's downloaded to your device, you don't have to have an internet connection. You've used the internet connection to download it. Now you've got it on your device. You don't have to worry about it. It's there. However, on read in your browser, you will have to have some type of internet connection wherever you are. And it just opens up. There's no downloading. It's just you click on read in browser and it's just going to come right up. Now, Overdrive states that your bookmarks and your reading progress are stored in the cloud, so you can pick up wherever you left off, no matter what device you're using. I have found that to be true. I haven't tried with different devices, but on the same device, I have found that, yes, I can do that on my phone, just pick up where I left off. And Finally, at the bottom of the title, see your options. You can request it again. That would be renewing it, or you can return it early. And the request again button is only going to pop up a couple of days before it's due. So they don't let you renew it until it's almost due. There is something that's a little bit different about the Kindle items. So if you have a Kindle e-reader or a Kindle Fire tablet, some type of Kindle device, you are going to have to go to the Kindle website in order to download your book. If it's EPUB or PDF and you're downloading it to an iPad or some other device, you don't have to worry about that. It's just going to open right up. But for Amazon, they want to send you to their website, probably so they can market to you. That way they keep an eye on what you're reading. But once you're diverted to the website, you see there on the right-hand corner of the screen in yellow, it says Get Library Book. A lot of people sometimes worry that this means they're purchasing the book, but you're not purchasing it. It just click on Get Library Book and it will download it to your device, whichever device you have designated for it to be delivered to. And it does have, if you have more than one Amazon device, you will have options there circled in red below the Get Library Book, which device you want it delivered to. And it has the expiration date on there as well. Okay, right on time. We are almost done. I just want to point out again the help on the KLU website, and then of course remember get help on the Libby app. Also, you can always call us here at the State Library. We are happy to troubleshoot, or just email us. We're happy to troubleshoot any kind of issue that you're having. So always give us a call. And I'm going to be just a little bit of housekeeping here at the end before we wrap up. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the chat. The first link will be for our Ask a Librarian service. So you can go here and you will be able to get a hold of us. We try to answer any questions we get through Ask a Librarian within 24 hours. You can also email the reference desk, and I've got that there on the slide. It's KDLA reference desk at ky.gov, and we will get back in touch with you about whatever issue you're having. And of course, you can call, and we're happy to try and help. I am also going to be putting a survey link here. We love to get your feedback, so let us know what else you'd like to see in terms of webinars from state government. And it's just a very, very short 5-question survey. So if you don't mind going ahead and just clicking on that link and giving us a little bit of feedback about the webinar, that would be great. And one last thing I need to let you know, the webinar has been recorded. It will be available to you within a week. Again, we got that short survey, links in the chat there. If you would please go ahead and fill that out. Your responses are really important to us for our continued federal funding. If you're watching this as a recorded webinar, you can also fill out the survey. So please take some time to do that. A certificate of attendance is going to be emailed to you within a week. That will come from our continuing ed department. So you will get a certificate of attendance for this. And I do need to let you know the Institute of Museum and Library Services is sponsored this webinar. They are a big supporter of state public libraries and public libraries all across the country, and we do receive money from them for training and for materials and other things of that nature. So we appreciate their assistance. If you have any questions, please go ahead and chat those in. I will be for a few more minutes, and I hope that you have a lovely afternoon, and it's almost the weekend and the holidays are coming up, so I hope you have a great Thanksgiving too. please, if you have any questions, again, I'm going to mute the mic now, but go ahead and chat those in.
Did you see the questions from Mary, Pamela, and Lisa? Hey Deborah, did you see those 3 questions that kind of came in at the last minute?
Okay, I see a few questions here. As far as adding an extra library, you will go to the menu on the app, that's those 3 lines, and scroll to where it says Manage Libraries, and you will have an option. You should have an option to add another library card. So that's where you would go to do that, is on the menu on the Libby app. Just go to the 3 lines at the bottom, go over to that page, and you should get the Manage Library Cards option, and then it'll allow you to add another library. That way you have 2 cards and you get more books and more holds. So that's a great thing to do. I received the error message that my account expired. What is the best way to get in touch? We handle expired accounts within our system. So I will make note of your name, Pamela. I will make a note and I will go ahead and reset it and then send you an email that it's been reset. I can do that as soon as the webinar is over, so just within a few minutes. So no problem. They do expire every 3 years so that we can get updated contact information. So that is the reason for that. If you have any new information, you can just go ahead and email that to me. Either send it through Ask a Librarian or the reference desk email that's there on the slide. Or I am Deborah, DEBORAH, .Hibbard, HIBBARD, at ky.gov. And you have an email from the invitation that I sent. So you can just get my email from that. And, you know, if you have any updated contact information, if you've changed agencies or what have you. The last question that I see, okay, how to read the magazines online or on an iPhone. If you have the Libby app, you're going to download it. It's going to be in your phone, and you should just be able to open it up. You're just going to click on it in your loans and open it up, especially on a phone. Like I have Kindle, so I've got it downloaded to my Kindle app, and whenever I want to read something, I just open that up in my Kindle app. So you just have to have the reading app, and Libby is a reading app, so you should be able to just open it up. Let me check something really quick. I do not have great internet right here as far as my phone is concerned. We don't have great cell phone reception in this building. And if you just have an e-reader, and magazines, of course, you're probably going to read those on a smartphone or a tablet because you're going to want to see the color and the pictures really well. And e-readers are just black and white, just like the page of a book. Tell you what, it might actually be easier for me to just send you some instructions, Lisa, that I find instead of trying to go through here. I'm most familiar with Kindle. If you have an EPUB book, it depends on what kind of phone you have. So if you have an Android phone, for example, then you would use, or an iPhone for that matter, you can do EPUB books. You should just be able to open those up in your app. I know with Overdrive, when you listen to an audiobook, you open that up in the app. But you may need the Adobe Digital Editions for an iPhone or for a tablet to read magazines and things of that nature. So you might want to download Adobe Digital Editions for reading purposes. I'm not, like I said, I haven't made the switch to Libby, so I've not used it a whole lot. I've used the Overdrive app more than anything. But let me just email you some instructions, so I will get back to you on that. Are there any other questions right now? Yes, I love that magazines are offered too, because I like reading magazines. Okay. Thanks again, guys, for coming. It's a little after 3 now. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Wonderful rest of your day.